Hello and welcome to Bible FPL, a review of Game Week 28, a look ahead to Game Week 29. I mean, if you look at the scores from the Premier League this weekend, it's been a much more entertaining sort of week of football. I'd say because of that, there's probably been a lot more opportunities for returns in FPL. I think most of us would have got returns at least in some degree or another. It's just a case of how many. And yet there's still FPL frustrations that I know people can feel in this game and will be feeling. And the short Bible passage at the end, actually, I'm hoping will be an encouragement for some of you that are, yeah, sometimes still wrestling with FPL and it letting us down kind of thing. But yeah, let's start off with by seeing how the main team did, in inverted commas, because the Bible team is still doing brilliantly, more so than this one. But yeah, the main team, these points haven't fully updated yet, but yeah, it. I think it's on about 70 odd points once the Bruno vice captaincy has changed to a captaincy. Obviously, I got quite lucky with that. Haaland was out. I mean, Haaland may have smashed it, but I mean, 13 double to 26 for captain, you're never going to say no to, are you? So we're taking that. Ekatike return was phenomenal. Thiago return for Bowen, it was about they did about the same as each other, but Virgil did much better than Chalobah, which was nice. My transfers paid off. Donnarumma return, Gabriel return, Zubimendi's coming in off the bench, so I just about fielded 11. Not complaining at all. I don't quite know what the rank is on this team yet. This is obviously a live score and a live pointage. It's not quite updated yet, but I think this team should be on a green arrow, which is nice. The problem is next week it is looking a little bit worse for wear with the likes of Matoma playing Arsenal, Anderson playing City, Rice went off with a potential injury, Haaland is a potential injury. So the thumbnail I think is something like, "Shall I take a hit for Haaland?" And we'll wait and see on the Haaland news before we decide what we're going to do. But yeah, there's a few loose kind of initial ideas in mind if Haaland's out. I mean, for you guys as well, kind of thinking about all of our teams really. You're going to turn to the fixture ticker. So because there's only now a couple of weeks left until this game week 31 blank, so you need to really be thinking if you haven't started already, go on a site like FPL.team, look ahead with where your current team is to game week 31 and see have I even got enough players that I can field in that week, and if not, what do I need to do to get to a place in 31 where I can field at least 11 players I'm happy enough with. If you had to field 10, it's not too bad, I don't think. Nine if you had to. But if you can, I think it's good to start planning now to still get through 31 in a way that doesn't look terrible. So you've got Arsenal, Palace, City, and Wolves all blanking in that week. So there's some big teams in there of like City and Arsenal. Some of us might have a Palace. Some of us might still be holding a Mane for Wolves, etc. So it's one to definitely think about. I mean, if you're sort of making transfers this game week and you're thinking who to target, I mean Bournemouth still have a reasonable run of three, like Marcus Tavernier is looking pretty good, penalty, set piece, etc. Links to someone on penalties, and Jai at home to Burnley's lovely. It's just a shame next week he's away to Arsenal, but home to Chelsea's not terrible in 31 if you could bench him here. Potentially, I mean, Leeds have a nice run of three. Dominic Calvert-Lewin could be a possibility, and he's actually someone that might be a possibility for the main team for us. I mean, the Liverpool fixtures are still really nice. I'm still not. I might be a bit deluded, and that's probably because I haven't owned the guy. But I'm still not entirely opposed to like just punt on Salah for a few weeks. I think right now, if you haven't got an Ekatike, the likes of him, Soboslai, Virgil van Dijk are probably much better value. But like if Haaland is out against Forest and you're looking for a captaincy, I mean, there's nothing sort of more cheeky than a differential Salah captaincy if the man decided to show up against Wolves. The problem is we haven't seen him show up for weeks. But I was saying to a mate, like all it takes is for him to get a penalty, he nicks an open play attacking return, and he's on a couple of returns and a bit of bonus, and all of a sudden he's hauled against Wolves. So I don't think it's out of the question over this run of three for Salah to get some returns, and because he's on penalties, to have Liverpool's penalty taker for this run of three and still has open play threat, what we know he can do on his day. I still don't hate the punt, and I may even go there myself and just roll the dice for 3 weeks and then sack him off on the wild card come game week 32. It's a shame because City have two nice fixtures, but then they blank. So like even now, if you don't have a Semenyo, like it is tempting again. I'm tempted by him for a 2 week punt on the main team. So speaking of those sort of things, like on the main team as it stands, I mean, I really need to look at injury news, like what's happening with Rice, what's happening with Haaland. Like if Rice and Haaland are both out, like honestly, it's a bit rash, but like I'm very tempted by a hit. or two just to get the team sorted and then also ready for 31 in some ways. So Calvert-Lewin will sort me out for the next few weeks. With Calvert-Lewin, I can get rid of Zubimendi that blanks in game week 31, and I could slap in the Salah I was talking about. And I'm hoping like I could just do that. That could be sufficient. If for some reason Rice is ruled out as well, like I just don't really fancy the idea, to be honest, of playing Matoma against Arsenal. Like he hasn't returned for me in all of our easier games. As a Brighton fan, home to Arsenal, the best defence in the league. Like, of course, I'll probably bench him and he scores or something. But at least Elliot Anderson, I'm like, he should get DEFCON away to City. So that's like a 4 pointer you can have. You can play that. You can be happy enough with it. If Rice is injured, and then I don't know, I'd be tempted to just like bring in Semenyo for 2 weeks. I have exact funds to do it. Just roll the dice, have a bit of fun, kind of thing. But yeah, there's a lot of having an argument that needs to happen with this team because I didn't realise how in dire straits it was looking this game week. But I suppose some of the injury news we can't predict. But yeah, something like that is what I may end up doing. The deadline, I think, is Tuesday evening. So we've only got a couple of days to work these things out. So it's definitely worth starting to think about it now if you haven't already. As for the Bible team, again, this is a score that's live on the website as I'm in there. But again, this team's up to, I think it got like 78 points this week with the hit. Was it 79 points of the hit? It was down to 71 or something. So I took a -8 this week. So I'm still like 23k. So I'll take that considering I took a -8 this week. And Jai Defcon actually felt quite massive considering I took a hit for him. They scored 3 goals, he didn't score. At least he got the Defcon. Gakpo and Gay returns was nice. The pain was I took out Saliba for Gay, but that was always the plan to get rid of Saliba. So at least these chaps returned nonetheless. And then who else did I bring in? And Burmo was a bit of a shame, but I still back him over this run over the next few weeks, where he's got what has he got? Okay, away to Newcastle, but I think they just come out of a game in Europe, so that could be better for him. In fact, no, Newcastle will be this game week, won't it? Don't know why people are talking so much about Europe. Maybe it's the Villa game. Anyway, Villa. I mean, Newcastle striking maybe they just conceded 3 goals at home, so I shouldn't be overly worried. And then Villa and Bournemouth, like it's not a bad run of three, is it, from Burma? So I still back the guy. I like the player. And then yeah, Mane are getting off the bench for Haaland. But yeah, Thiago returned. Semenyo was a nice return. De Bruyne again. I got lucky with the vice captaincy on this team. Obviously, Timber and Gabriel was lovely. So like to have had the triple Arsenal defence, no clean sheet, and all returned. If I had Saliba, would have been lovely. But you can't win them all, and at least I still got some returns elsewhere, and at least the team's still in a reasonable rank. Sort of moving into the next game week. Here's the proof of the live rank. There you go, 79, -8, 71. Yeah, we take it. We definitely take it with the -8 and some of the sort of early blanks into the game week. I was a little nervous about how this team was going to do. So yeah, I'll take it all day long. And if you're familiar with this series, you know I do a short Bible talk, as I mentioned at the start of the video. I use one of the players' return times to inspire a passage. So for this one, we're going to use Cody Gakpo's goal. Now, Cody is our Book of Matthew representative. His middle name is Mathes, so he inspires the Book of Matthew. Gakpo scored in the 70th minute. Now, there isn't a chapter 70 in Matthew, but there is a chapter 7. So we'll go with Matthew chapter 7. And I'm going to relate it to FPL a little bit. It's yeah, Matthew chapter 7, the wise and the foolish builders. I remember learning about this when I was in Sunday school as a kid. And I remember seeing a little short video about it. And this is Jesus speaking. He says, therefore, anyone who hears these words of mine, so he's just done some previous teaching about sort of putting your faith in God. And he says, puts them into practice is like a man, a wise man, you know, you could translate it to wise women who built their who built their house upon the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, the winds blew against the house. It didn't fall because its foundation was on the rock. But everyone who hears God's words and doesn't put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain came, the streams rose, the winds blew and beat against the house, and it fell down with a great crash. Now, basically, the essence of this is, you know, God saying a few things. He's saying, look, my teachings in my word of how to live your lives are there for good reason. Like, I want to help you to live good lives. I want to help you to be fruitful. I want to help you to actually, yeah, find peace and joy in life. And God's guidance for living actually ultimately is trying to get us to do that. I think more importantly, the rock in this instance is God, building a house on God, putting our trust in God, our faith in God, and not putting our faith in the things of this world. So ultimately, this world is going to let us down, particularly if we put all of our faith in it. And I guess this passage is saying that those that have put their faith in God, like the things of this world are going to let us down, but God will never let us down. So if you put your faith in God, you know that He's always going to be with you. He's always going to be using difficult things for good. Ultimately, there's an eternity waiting for you. You know you're saved and forgiven. Like He's always got your back. He's always going to love you. He's not going to let you down like other people let you down in this life. Whereas those that build their house on the sand, i.e., put their hope, all of their hope in the things of this world, and many of you watching this might not be Christians, and if you don't have a faith in God, then I suppose, I guess essentially you are, putting your faith in the things of the world to bring you happiness and satisfaction, whether that be relationships or careers or fancy football. But I suppose the bottom line is like you can never guarantee that, any of these things are not going to let you down. And as we all know, for those of us that play fancy football lets us down on a daily, weekly basis. We cannot guarantee how players are going to return, how well FPL is going to go week to week. Like ultimately, if you do put all of your trust and your hope in FPL on a given weekend to bring you happiness, it inevitably is going to let you down time and time again, and you will feel, I suppose, yeah, your kind of your sandy kind of foundations in terms of putting your hope in a game that is very unpredictable. You're going to find it lets you down, and you're going to find people let you down in life. And sometimes even those you love the most are going to let you down, and that's when it's going to hurt the most. And obviously, people can have your back. Of course, they can in life. We can have friends and family we can trust. We can have people that do have our back in life. Of course we do. And Jesus teaches, love your neighbour as yourself, that he wants us to be people that have people's back. But even the nicest and best people in the world and our best family members are still going to let us down at times. And they're still going to, do the wrong thing. And this passage says, only God is the one we can trust and never let us down. Always have our backs, always unconditionally love us, forgive us, give us hope for a future, guide us, etc. And yeah, that's my encouragement really. If you don't know God, like I'd encourage you, to put your faith in Him. It's God. You can't. It's not to say you can't play fantasy football and things like that. I play fantasy football. I'm a Christian. I enjoy fantasy football, but it's my faith that often gives me perspective on the game. Where if I do have a bad game week, it's frustrating. I still can get bothered by it and annoyed by it, but I can ultimately come around to a place of peace from like it's not the end of the world. Like it's not what I'm putting all my trust in life, and therefore I can move on and crack on and move on to the next game week and and focus on what's more important in life. So yeah, so if some of you are watching this thinking, yeah, do you know what, FPL often robs my joy and I do put too much sort of pressure on it, and it does take away my satisfaction, or there's other things in your life that have let you down, and you're maybe getting to an age where you're like, actually, yeah, like there is nothing in life I can guarantee as something that's not never going to let me down, and I feel like I need that solid rock in my life. Well, God is the one that can give you that. So if you have any questions about that, please comment. I'd love to help you on your journeys of faith. Maybe go along to a local church. Like they could definitely help you on that journey to help you to find the rock that can give you that solidity in life that all of us really need ultimately. So yeah, I'll leave that bit there. Before it's too long, as I always say. Finally, looking into what the team looks like for the Bible FPL team. I mean, this is looking in much better shape than the main team. Partly because I took that -8. I looked ahead on FPL.team and I went, okay, I think I'm happy with how the team looks week to week with the hit I took. So I'm loving the defence and the keeper with this. Enjoy at home to Burnley's looking nice. As you can see, I've provisionally stuck the captain's armband on him. If Haaland is out, I mean, there's not loads of players crying out for captaincy this week on paper, I'd argue. So Everton just put three past Newcastle in form. Burnley just conceded, what, four against Brentford, proving they concede for fun at the moment. Why not stick a cheeky differential captaincy armband on Njai? He's on the pens. Maybe he can get us a brace or something and smash us up the rankings. I don't really fancy United ladders for captaincy away to Newcastle. As bad as Newcastle have been, we know they can still turn up at home. Haaland, if he's fully fit and we're thinking he's going to get good minutes, I may well go back to Haaland captaincy. But if there's any doubt around Haaland's minutes, if we think he's going to get benched or he's out, maybe I just do enjoy. Try and push up those rankings even further on the Bible team. And it's tricky in terms of transfers as Haaland's out on this team. Maybe I just bring in Ekatike for that away to Wolves fixture. That's probably the most obvious move that I could do. But yeah, we'll mull it over. But at the moment, those are the initial thoughts. And yeah, I think I'll probably leave it there. I'd suggest FPL.team for your future plans and making your decisions this week. I'd suggest have another look at the fixture ticker, have another look at this sample size, particularly over the next few weeks to get you to 31, which teams to target, which players to target. Harry Wilson's a shame because he might be injured and he's got a lovely run of three, but definitely, again, look out for the press conferences before you look in your moves because there's a lot of information we need to hear this week and we may not get all of the info, so definitely have plans in mind if you don't get complete clarity as to what you're looking for clarity on. I mean, Arteta's unlikely to give us complete clarity, is he, about the likes of Rice? So maybe you already have half a plan in mind as to what you might do with him. Is there a bench player to come in for him, if he's not going to play, etc. All that good stuff. So yeah, a lot to think about before the Tuesday deadline. Then we get a slightly longer break until the one after that. But yeah, for now, I'll leave it there. I do hope you've enjoyed the game weeks more than you found it frustrating. I think overall, at least there would have been some returns, I think, for all of us in some capacity. But yeah, I'll stop waffling. Thanks so much for tuning in. Do like and subscribe if you found this helpful, all that good stuff. It's all massively appreciated. But for now, yeah, love you guys loads. Thanks again, and catch you on the next one.